Hello! Today we will analyze another type of market on Polymarket. Markets for economic crypto. Example, will the total commitment in the public sale of the Solomon token on the MetaDAO platform $1 mark? It seems that here everything is decided by a random crowd of investors and it is impossible to predict. In reality, fundraising events like crowdfunding or IPOs have their... Today we will break down exactly what those are and how an average beginner could have seen them in advance, in simple terms, without complex crypto jargon. By the way, we already had information about some similar events in our Telegram channel. I will tell you a little more about this. The mechanics are the same as everywhere else on Polymarket. The market asks us whether a specific amount, yes, 20, will exceed a certain threshold before the fundraising closes. The price, from 1 to 99 cents, is how strongly market participants believe in the outcome. The specific feature of these fundraising markets is that everything happens very quickly here. Not weeks, like in politics, but even hours or minutes. If the project is popular, the money can pour in within a matter of hours after the start, so it's important here not to check the news once a day, but to look at the data in almost real time. Here are the tools for analyzing such market. The first one, the official fundraising page. Yes, each such fundraiser has a page with a live counter showing how much has been raised right now. For Solomon, it was a page on the metadao.fi website. The counter updates most direct source of truth, you could say. Here there are some other projects, Awichi, Umbra, Ripcars. We can see how much they have already raised, what their goal was, so everything here is updated on price and so on. There are many projects on MetaDAO and on Polymarket use such live counters. The second tool is social media and crypto. First and foremost, this is Twitter, called X. Major projects are discussed in advance, how many applications were in the whitelist, what well-known crypto accounts are saying, whether there is hype. Hype on social media is not a guarantee of money in itself, but it almost always appears before the official. The third essential tool is a blockchain explorer, such as Solscan, which allows you to track transactions. Essentially, this means we can navigate directly to the MetaDAO platform, and from there we can easily enter the Solomon contract address to view all the relevant. And here is Solscan. We can go here, Solscan. All payments to such a pool go through a smart contract, and anyone can open the Explorer and see with their own eyes how many transactions and what amount. This is impossible to fake. Unlike statement, yes, if you have doubts. And the fourth, comparing prices at different thresholds within the Polymarket family of markets itself. If yes, for the same event there are separate markets for 15 million, 20 million, 50 and even 120, comparing their prices with each other works like a ladder of market. If the price for 50 million is already high, and not just for 20 million, it means that market participants are expecting not just an exceedance, but a multiple over-fulfillment of the target. Let's take a moment to analyze this specific market real-world example, specifically regarding the Solomon raise over on MetaDAO, where the established threshold was set at $20 million. Our context is Solomon Labs is a USDW stablecoin project on Solana, which was already generating yields of around 20% per annum for holders even before the public token sale. The official fundraising in advance was very modest, just $2 million. Also take a closer look at this data, see the entire detailed chronology of exactly how they raised funds for Solomon. It is quite impressive. So by November 17th, they had already successfully raised $3 million thanks to the incredible support of 2,000 participants. And our very first step was this. On November 12th, 2025, the official news regarding the start date of the sale was finally released to the public. The date was set for November 15th, which meant we were working within a very tight 4-day window. Already at this early stage, there was a truly noticeable increase in activity, with heightened and intense discussion of the project via platforms. Yes, we can clearly see that in a remarkably short period of time, they successfully raised 5 million, then 7 million, and eventually 7. That is, our collections were growing. We could observe all of this in real time. And also, well, it is important to note that this is the official Solomon Labs account itself, so we are actively engaging across various crypto communities, including Twitter, Discord, and even some Facebook groups. We are essentially everywhere where there are some founders or, well, the original creators of coins, and of course all those dedicated project creators who are built to monitor and analyze everywhere. And in general, you don't just have to look at the creators themselves, you can just look at the market for some well-known figures. Also, it could be platforms, make announcements. It's important to watch and analyze it. Well, step 2, the sale started on November 15th. Already in the first few hours, as we can see, the live counter and the blockchain explorer showed a sharp influx of requests. So that's what I was talking about, right? We analyze on metadao.fi in real time. We look at how much money has already been put into the project, and through Solscan or other similar explorers we look at which contracts they are coming from and for what amount. Yes. So we have a full analysis of a certain coin going on. The amount of liabilities was growing exponentially faster for Solomon than the modest official goal of. That is precisely why the 20 million market on Polymarket, created on November 17th, already showed significant trading volume at the moment of its launch. Participants understood that the threshold would almost certainly be surpassed. On the 18th of November, the highly anticipated sale officially came to a close, marking the end of a significant period of activity. When all the final figures were tallied, the total amount raised reached an impressive $102,932,000. This substantial sum was contributed by a dedicated group of 6,603 individual participants who took part in the process. There, the final chapter of this successful endeavor was written. The Solomon themselves wrote this person replied to them, and they reposted it. So everything, roughly speaking, is lying on. Few people take advantage of this. That is a big mistake. Well, this was 5 times the 20 million threshold, obviously, and 50 times the initial official goal. The project team decided to cap the actual collection at 8 million, and they returned about 92% of the contributed funds to all parties. What is our conclusion? Conclusion: if a beginner were to judge only by the officially stated goal of 2 million, they would have decided that a threshold of 20 million was something, but anyone who followed the live counter, social media and blockchain data would have seen within the very first hours after the sale started that the goal was exceeded multiple times long. It is important to read the market wording carefully. Here, the market was asking specifically about the total amount of commitments, that is, how much money people were willing to contribute. This is not the same thing as the final amount that the the Solomon team itself decided to limit the actual collection to 8 million, so to speak, and return the rest. If the market had asked not about the participants but about the final amount of the round, it would have been a completely different market with a different result. Also remember, social media and hype are an early but not a 100% signal. Hype can turn into real money, or it might not. That is precisely why it is important to verify it through a second independent source, a live counter. Here, a live counter. Metadao.fi, everyone trusts it itself. Polymarket takes data from it. The market for this event was taken from Polymarket, and Polymarket is exactly metadao.fi. Do not rely on one channel, on some single Twitter account, right? If you go in, do not rely on that. Rely only on the big picture, the general, and even in crypto fundraising, which seems chaotic and unpredictable, there are noticeable early signals. The gap between the official goal and the actual interest in the product, live data from the fundraising and the blockchain, and prices on related thresholds within the same family of markets, all of these are free and open sources. Start with one current market regarding an economic event, check it against these 4 points, and you will see that real data outpaces the final headline. And yes, for some events similar to this case, we already had the information in advance on our Telegram channel, and we have it for several future events as well. Check it out, we analyze similar situations there. Subscribe to analyze more cases like this. See ya.